All right, welcome back. Caleb Plant, Sweet Hand Plant out there in Tennessee doing his thing against Feigenbutz. And I'm telling you right now, dude, he looked so good, dude, that he might have opened up an opportunity for Jermall Charlo to get a Canelo fight, because Canelo Alvarez don't belong at 168 pounds, man. Watching, I know that I'm going way over the right field with this, going to left field off this, but that's what I was thinking watching that fight between Caleb Plant and Feigenbutz, was that Canelo Alvarez doesn't want to fight that dude. Canelo Alvarez will lose to Caleb Plant. David Benevidez might be even money, but let's talk about that and the 168-pound division in this video. All right, welcome back, man. I love early Sunday mornings after the fight. Got a good night's sleep so I can make these videos and share with you my thoughts about the fights. So Caleb Sweet Hands Plant of Nashville, Tennessee. What is he, the IBF? I think he is the IBF 168-pound champion. A very, very, very good fighter who was first introduced to me, I do believe, or at least, his talent. I'd seen him before, but there's a guy who used to come by the channel, I haven't seen him in a long time, named Ty Legacy, man. If you're still out there, Ty Legacy, man, hope everything's well with you. But he and I used to talk about Caleb Plant, and this, I do believe, I can't remember who it was that Caleb Plant was fighting, but I was like, yeah, I really like Caleb Plant, but I'm bigger on David Benavidez. I think if Caleb Plant could ever learn how to fight on the inside and really kind of throw strong shots on the inside, I think he could really, really be nice. But he's got to be able to get more of that slipping, more of the slipping shots on the inside and, and countering and landing heavy shots. And that was, at the first few fights that I saw for Caleb Plant, that was my observation with him. So I knew that he was very, very talented. He's a good fighter without a doubt. I thought he had a chance to beat Jose Uskatagi, That's the guy who he beat for the IBF 168-pound title. And Uskatagi won a vacant belt, I do believe, against Andre Durrell. But that was my take. And he surprised me in that fight, and he beat Uskatagi, dropped Uskatagi. And so I was like, okay, this dude is getting better. But what I saw last night from, I do believe, a good competitor, okay? These guys in the PBC, they're making fights with good fighters, man. There's a lot. One thing that I think people should appreciate about these fights that are being made on Fox, the fight with, for example, the fight with Jason Rosario and J-Rock, this fight with Feigenbutz and Caleb Plant, is that there are some very, very solid fighters out there. Feigenbutz came to fight, man. He was taking some nice shots. He was giving some work, but he just got overwhelmed. But the thing that I really liked about Caleb Plant in this fight is, one, he's still very, very sharp, very, very sharp. He was defensive. He's got very, very good defense. And the thing that I like about his defense, he uses that like that Philly shell, or, as Mayweather's ego likes to call it, the Mayweather defense, where he uses his shoulder. He uses his left shoulder as basically another type of guard, and he'll kind of brush punches off or slip down to the side. You know the detail. I mean, the details of that defense. So he fights in that a good way. He'll also, on occasion switch to a high guard, but that defense does allow him to see very well. He does that very well. And the thing that I liked about it is that what he does with his defense and what he did with Feigenbutz is he pretty much took away everything standing in the pocket. He took away pretty much everything from Feigenbutz, with the exception of Feigenbutz's jab. And he slipped maybe, 85-90% of those, but that jab would get through. The jab would get through every once in a while. A right hand would get through every once in a while. But it was one. It wasn't going to be two and three punches. He wound up slipping him. He could get all the way outside with it. He was very sharp on his defense. And now he seems that he is in significantly better physical condition than he was during the first few fights that I saw in his career. His strength and his power have seriously increased, right? To the point where I'm like, oh man, them some hellified supplements, dude. I'm not going to say that that's the case, man. And I hope that's not the case, but he looked physically, dude, he looked absolutely in perfect condition. I don't think the dude could get in any better physical condition than he was for that fight. Clearly, this dude's been working his tail off. He's been taking care of his nutrition. You could see in the way that he moved, in the way that he was built, and in the development of him, that he's been put in a lot of work. And so for me, he looked absolutely excellent. Now, the next step for him, is obviously within the PBC in the 168-pound division would be a fight with David Benavidez. Now, that's why I mentioned at the early portion of this, the introduction into this conversation, that, I originally looked at Caleb Plant and was thinking about Caleb Plant eventually fighting David Benavidez and how I thought David Benavidez and those guys would match up. David Benavidez in my book is a beast, man. Very, very fast hands. Has got nice power. He's, kind of a come forward fighter. His offense is his defense. He's very, very big, tall. He's big. Originally, I thought to myself, hey man, he would beat Caleb Plant when I looked at it originally. When I look at it to last night, I'm like, okay, Caleb Plant caught me once. He caught me once on Uzcategui because I thought he had a chance to beat Uzcategui, but I was leaning towards Jose Uzcategui. I was leaning towards him. With this type of situation, I'm like, man, this thing is firmly 50-50. I don't know which way this will go. David Benavidez is going to have to bring something else. David Benavidez is going to have to bring something else to the table to beat Caleb Plant, and he's not going to just roll over. He's just not going to just roll over Caleb Plant. And with that very sharp power, very sharp, because there's some people I think that place their punches very well in boxing. The guy that I think probably places their punches better than anybody, or as good as anybody. I won't say better than anybody, as good as anybody. And I think that's his major talent is Vasily Lomachenko. Vasily Lomachenko hits you exactly where Vasily Lomachenko wants to hit you. And if you got a high guard, he can come right through the middle of that high guard and tag you right on the button. Very precise with his liver shots, just a very precise puncher. I saw a good amount of that in Caleb Plant last night. So that and what I believe is increased strength from Caleb Plant, that could cause that is definitely going to test David Benavidez's chin. I got to go back and look, of course, at Feigenbutz's record and see if this is a situation where this guy might be a little bit chinny. I don't think it is. I think it was just the accumulation of punches, strong punches, the accumulation of punches, taking 3 and 4 shots, 3 and 4 punch combinations. I think that's probably what did it more than anything else. So I do, and it's not a matter of the guy just not having a chin. Now, the thing that I think about both Caleb Plant and David Benavidez is I think that they are both superior to the other two champions at 168 pounds, who are both matchroom fighters, right? 168 pounds is a weight division where the belts are split between PBC fighters and fighters that fight on DAZN, or fighters that are promoted by Matchroom. And the Matchroom fighters are the two inferior fighters of them. I don't think Callum Smith can beat any of those champs. I don't think Callum Smith can beat any of these guys. Maybe he can beat Billy Joe Saunders, but I think Billy Joe Saunders lose to David Benavidez, and he loses to Caleb Plant. And I think Callum Smith loses to Caleb Plant and David Benavidez. And the only other guy of note at 168 pounds, because he's floating between here and there, is Canelo Alvarez. And I'm telling you right now, as big as a fan of I am of what Canelo Alvarez can do in the ring, and I am. I talk about the computerall. I talk about the franchise belt and want him to fight Charlo. So there's things about Canelo that I'm critical of. But one thing I ain't critical of is that dude's ability to fight in the ring. And I'm telling you, he's going to have a hard time with Caleb Plant. He's going to have a very hard time and a very rough fight with Caleb Plant because Caleb Plant is good at what Canelo is good at. And that is he's very good at slipping punches. But again, he is very, very, very accurate. And I do believe that because he is good at slipping punches and good at the counter, that's going to be that right there would be a chess match. And it is no guarantee Canelo Alvarez will get out of that fight because Caleb Plant is bigger. And Caleb Plant, the only thing I think if Caleb Plant is able to do with those body, like dig more to the body, I think he has a potential of beating Canelo Alvarez. And I think Oscar De La Hoya will see that. And I think DAZN will see that and they'll keep him away. So that increases the chance that maybe Canelo Alvarez has to go back down to 160 for them to continue this fantasy trip that they're on. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the matter. Excellent fights from Caleb Plant. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Also, a thank you to everybody that supports the channel by subscribing, everybody that supports the channel in the super chats and in the Cash App, and everybody that's a channel member and a member over there on Patreon. I'm gonna catch you on the next video. With that, I'm out.